I remember when I first started doing this job, because I don't know if I even like it's a job because it pays money, but it's sort of kind of how I hate the same way when somebody brings up being professional during this job. Like, there is nothing about this that is a regular or professional job. So, when I first started this endeavor into sharing my gifts with the world, originally I was really like about the message that I was sharing. It made me very boxed within myself. Like I didn't feel like I could ever have a bad day or a day where I didn't want to have necessarily positive message because I did not want to encourage self-deprecating or uh, suicide glorification stuff. You know how some people are like, my life fucking sucks. Fuck this shit. Can't wait to die. Like, I ain't want to give that to anybody. I remember there was a time in my life, it was just a part of my sense of humor, my friend's sense of humor. Like we were all just alive, but we hated that we were alive. But it's like you don't realize, like, hey, what you're actually saying. So when I came into this job, because this was like post awakening, post my misery era, I did not think it was like okay to show that side, to show when I have a bad day. So I just disappear and then pop back up when I'm again. Now that I've been doing this for a couple years, that love and light shit is not it. I think it makes other people feel some type of way. Not that you should base your life on what other people think, but it just sets a bar. Like if you're looking up to somebody, which you should never look up to anybody, you should just be like, this person is a reflection of something in myself I need to see. You should recognize yourself in somebody else instead of putting them on a pedestal because somebody will always get slapped off a pedestal, right? So it just makes people who are on their journey feel less accomplished on their journey. If they have somebody who's love and light and all the time, like no ego, like all that shit, and that's not, you came to earth to have an ego. Why would you get here and say no ego? I understand it's not supposed to overpower you, but the only thing separating you from source is the fact that you now have a personality as an individual, which is the whole purpose of being here, seeing what piece of God you are. What did God intend you for? What were you made for? And that is through the filter of the ego, your unique lens of things. So with that all being said, this video gonna be short, y'all. I had to force myself over here in obedience because it is Wednesday and I've been told what I need to do to be successful. Don't we just all struggle sometimes with being, because it's making me feel like a teenager, a rebellious teenager. That's how I felt about it. Like, oh, I got to do this video today. I got to talk. But it was not anything to do with the people. I love doing these videos. I love talking to you guys, even though I am still upset that I'm locked out of my stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I'm upset about that I was not allowing myself to be upset about because I was sort of taking it like a grain of salt. I understand that we are all in the middle of a war, an initiation, which is a whole nother video I have to do when I'm in a better mood because I definitely have to do this initiation thing because a lot of people are about to go through it, especially if you have Mars or Aries or Pluto, maybe in your 12th house. That's going to be an unconscious, like spiritual thing. But I woke up today feeling like I have been in a box, like literally every day doing these things and readings. And I understood it was what I was supposed to do, but it's been 3 years now. I was kind of dead before this job started. And what that means is I was not alive in my own life. I was not my main character. Like we'd go to the beach and I'd be sitting there in a fucking sweater on the beach just watching everybody else play. I have been in the background watching everybody else live their best life for a long time. So when I got into this awakening and I was like, all right, cool, fabulous. Now I know I can go out in the world and do stuff and not have to hide in a shell because people make me feel some type of way because I'm fat. Like it's really bad, especially when you try to go to the beach. People turn into big kids when they see a big person. Like they forget they're not supposed to stare. And like it's just really crazy. I didn't realize how much of myself I tucked away just because I didn't want to get noticed or stared at because my family don't play that shit. So if I notice somebody staring at me and I'm trying to like Stevie Wonder the shit, And my squad notices, oh no, they about to cut somebody out because they don't play that. Because they know I'm just like a person that's trying to mind my business. But nobody wants to be the victim or to have to live like that anymore. So to be stuck in a box now that I'm feeling big and proud, it's been a bit daunting, especially with my mind working at the speed that it is working at. Uh, it's just a lot. So I was talking to God per usual, like, hey, bro, what's going on? I've been consorting my cards. Why am I still in this position? I felt like the genie, right? Ultimate power, itty bitty living space. And I'm like, because when I go out in person, shit happens. I get upgraded rooms. I end up with like special parking. Uh, just perks that never happened before. Things that like just being around other people, they start telling me all their life, or they're just like really nice. Like my frequency is affecting other people when I go out. But is that the reason I can't go out anywhere? Like I would just like to switch from this desktop that I have, right? To a laptop. So when I come to you guys, I can come to you guys from different locations. I'd like to have a reason to dress up every day besides just working out. Like, because it really feels like I've been in training. I just work out every day and pray and meditate. And yo, this feels like, and I know I'm not spiritually bypassing, but it's adjacent outside of my control. So I guess the name of this video should be out of your control. What do you do when things are out of your control? When you know for a fact the stuff is bubbling in the background, but you are in a season of isolation because Lord knows I didn't know I was gonna be isolated for 3 years. Remember, oh, I lost all my friends, all my family. It's just like everybody dissipated into their own timelines, and I started building something new. But holy shit, can I get out the house? So I keep pulling, and every time I ask, like, what am I being stalled for? Because I can feel it. Usually I can make some shit move, even if to the detriment. Like, okay, one time we were in another house and I wanted a new house. This is over the last 3 years. We found out we had to move. So I found the house. I thought it was beautiful. And so I wrote it down. I wrote it down like, oh my goodness, can I please have this house? Like doing my script and shit. The next day I came back to this house, it said that the person who had it on file, like who had just applied and all that shit, like, hey, this house is back on the market. Somebody's loan fell through. And I was like, oh, I never thought the magic could like trump somebody else's shit. I guess that's why you can't make yourself win the lottery, because you'll knock somebody else out of their shit. So I didn't take the house. I didn't. I let it go, and I was like putting out there that that person's loan or something will work out so they could get the house. And I just let it be because I didn't like the way that made me feel. And when I pulled cards, it totally told me that it was because on my behalf that that happened. But if something that epic happened, why is it now that every time I go to a house, as soon as I like it, it's off the market? I wrote an apartment complex on Monday to come see it on Thursday. By the time I got there on Thursday, every 4 and 3 bedroom apartment was gone. Like, you don't want to be paranoid, but it's sometimes when you realize you're obviously being blocked. So I keep pulling and I keep getting mad with the coin. And I know there ain't no way God got me waiting on a man. Like, not my Lord. He wouldn't do that to me. So I pulled from a different deck yesterday. Let me show y'all this shit. Completely different deck. Because I'm like, y'all not going to get me with that man with the coin thing. Because at this point, I could cry for how many times I pulled that out. I pulled yesterday. I'm still waiting for a seeker, healer, Messiah. And no, it's not me. God has me stuck in position for somebody else to meet me because they need me on the next step of their journey. This is like trying patience I didn't even know I had. I still don't know that I have it, but I can't do shit about it anyway because the answer is what it is. I can't even be clear enough because I'm like upset to say why you'd be put in the position to have to wait for somebody else to move things on, or like why uh the universe would give you somebody to train that like very likely has no desire to learn from you, because that's what's messing me up. I'm stuck being in a telepathic thing until the expiration of the contract thing. Like, remember, I got my decree, I got my little divorce shit, but it still has a date to be fair to the other party when they could show up until it comes. It turns out me giving him the gift or the demo I gave him was sort of like a you got served shit. And if he doesn't turn up by a certain time, but God, if I can hear these thoughts back and forth, it's a lot to have to deal with hearing somebody's negative and positive thoughts about you. Like, and it's not even really about me, it's just reflections of how he feels about himself and his life. And is this a fit? And it's just like, dear God, why would you? So I could not remember him fully at first when all of this began. But as time has gone on, I'm like, I remember this nigga. And we are right back where we started. So the pedestal he was on has been knocked off because I remember we started off fucking enemies, but like not hardcore enemies because we were in space school together. And every time I had an idea or a really good project, here his ass would come with like, well, isn't that such and such? Are you supposed to like he's sort of a douche? I could not remember him. So for this to be the last big hurdle, the person that I had big karma with, that it needs to be cleared in order for me to get the rest of my gifts back. I guess I do understand on that level. There is some person who is like the checks and balances to your gifts, like the masculine energy that keeps you together. A picture like Wolverine and Jean Grey, and then she had like backup Cyclops. And I say backup because like when it came down to it, Wolverine was the one who was able to hold it down. But all of us have a checks and balance. That is really part of what this dynamic is about. One person is supposed to save you from going Jenny. Everybody has a force, male, female, whatever the case may be. I don't know what the procedure is when your person doesn't line up, like they self-sabotage, because that's absolutely what this is. Anytime you talk yourself out of something that's clearly good for you or could help you grow, it just even avoiding the challenge is the issue. So I get this is one of them weird messages, y'all. Because when it comes to my stuff, I don't get to know everything per se. Like I know a lot more than the average person having to deal with somebody's thoughts coming in. But stillness in the time of cloudy vision. When you don't know what to do nothing. I came on here because I guess I needed to show a moment of vulnerability that not everybody has it together. You can have access to the answers, but you still can't make things move outside of the will of source. So stillness. Even when you do understand and you still can't do anything about the shit. Stillness. And there really is not a limit on the time for which your masterpiece is being made, is what I'm getting. So you'll have beautiful days where you're painting. It's like, I see where this is going. I can't wait to do this tomorrow. And then there'll be some days you put in work on it. And then you'll be like, this is shit. I should scrap it. On those days when you say it's shit, I should scrap it, just step away from it. You've been in the energy too long. You're still working on a masterpiece. You just can't see it anymore because you've been working on it for so fucking long. Trust your vision. Trust what's outside of yourself. Because a masterpiece is going to get made. So that's the message. I still feel like this, but I can be the conduit, the carrier for the message, even though I'm salty about my own thing, just because I want to get out into the beach in so long. And now I'm actually prepared to go swim in it. I want to get next to some water. Pray for me, y'all. Bye.